Hello, hello, and happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're joining me on a replay, happy replay day to you as well. I hope that you had a beautiful weekend. We're live here, and I'm excited to welcome you once again to today's live level up conversation.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market Update. Award-winning financial pro. Get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Another very busy week here in August. Hello, my friends. I'm Winnie Sun, your host, Forbes contributor, CNBC council member, and award-winning financial pro, here to keep you on top of relevant trending business news. And of course, what makes our show really fun and why I'm always here to welcome you is, you're part of today's discussion. So we're going to be seeing your comments come in. So do me a favor, let me know how you're feeling this week, where you're joining me live from. Of course, a big, huge welcome to Joshua, CrossX Fighter, joining us on YouTube Live. I see many of you on different platforms. Don't be shy. Let me know how you're feeling today. We've got a lot of business news to share with you today, so I think you're in for a treat. But let's start as we always do, and that is where the market closed. Now, if you weren't paying attention to the financial markets, that's okay. I'm going to here to update you on how the market closed. In fact, this is some good news. For those of you who follow the Dow closed up 239 points today, almost 250 points. And so it was overall a very positive day on the financial markets. The Nasdaq closed down, unfortunately, 25 points. S&P 500 also ended up at 8 points. Now, the big news today is something that you've probably been witnessing and maybe reading about happening in Washington, D.C. President Joe Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act into law today. Now, they've been working on this for quite some time. You may have heard it was previously sort of coined the Build Back bill that they were trying to pass. This is actually big legislation, most importantly because it's sort of a boost to clean energy, making a big investment and getting things in order in that area, lower prescription pricing and healthcare costs. And this is the one that I think a lot of companies, when wealthy investors weren't too keen on, and it's actually increasing corporate taxes as well. Now, this was signed into law today. As you know, it was passed with the majority of Democratic support in the Senate and the House, with no Republican support at all. In fact, this was a bill that is, or the law is going to cost here now, $430 billion has now been signed that will be spent. This $430 billion package is expected to reduce the U.S. deficit by more than $300 billion, they expect, over the next decade. Now, this has been coined the single largest federal investment into the fight against climate change. As you know, you may be experiencing this now. And I know certainly here where I am in Southern California, it feels so incredibly warm. And I know some of my friends in other parts of the country have been saying as well. I also see that, we not only that, but the minimum corporate tax rate has now increased to 15%. That's sort of the big jump there. Now, this law is also going to make changes in the federal health policy. In fact, people are saying this is the biggest change since 2010's Affordable Care Act. Now, this is going to be a $369 billion investment in climate and energy policies. You might be wondering, like myself, where this money is expected to come from. Where they're saying about 120 plus billion dollars of this is going to be coming from, this is like not good news, but increased IRS enforcement, meaning for those who are wealthy, this is probably going to be bad news because they're going to probably have more IRS audits and tougher regulations. And so more people are going to have to pay more taxes that are due. They're going to probably try to make sure they're getting the taxes due. That's supposed to bring in about $124 billion. And they're hoping that the reduction in the deficit is also going to bring in, more than $300 billion over the next decade. We will see. It's important to know that this wasn't something that was sort of something that everybody wanted. In fact, the law just passed very much narrowly in the U.S. Senate by a 51 to 50 vote. This was just August 7th. No Republicans voted there. But Vice President Kamala Harris did cast the tie-breaking vote, which gave Democrats a win. And then the U.S. House passed last Friday 220 to 207 margin. So also pretty tight there. What we mentioned, no Republican support added on this at all. Now I see a lot of comments coming in, so let me take a quick pause. Tedra, it is so great to see Tedra. She goes, I think Tedra goes by Teddy. So Teddy, is great to see you. Teddy Brown joining us on LinkedIn Live from Pensacola. Thank you so much. Wow, it's raining there. Tekunda, Keith Makachi, I apologize if I'm saying that incorrectly. And thank you so much for joining us on LinkedIn Live, seeing your comments come in as well. Thank you so much for being here. Now, other news I thought I would share is coming out of Walmart. Now, why is this important? Because a lot of times we're talking about forecasting and getting a sense of what we can look forward to in the financial markets and the economy, right? There's a lot of clues if you follow financial news. And so this is one of those bits of financial news that I want to share with you. Now, this is coming from Walmart. If you remember in July, I think about July 25th, we were talking about how Walmart was warning investors and those watching sort of financial news, that they were saying that because of the increase in fuel prices and also the inflation on food prices, that a lot of us were actually starting to spend a lot less money on things in general, non-essential things such as electronics, like home furnishings, new clothes, right? However, they actually got better than expected news, mainly from back to school shopping, amongst other areas. For those of you who don't know, I actually didn't know this, so I did some research last year that back to school shopping is actually the second most biggest shopping events of the year, just after the typical holiday season at the end of the year. This is when consumers spend a significant amount of their household budget is actually during back to school. So back to school ended up being a much better time for Walmart than they expected. Now they do still expect that the second half of the year that earnings will continue to fall, but they think that fall will be less than they previously expected in July. So what does that mean? That means if Walmart is feeling this way, perhaps things will be getting better than later, and perhaps the inflationary concerns will start to settle down as well. We don't know, but that's what's coming out of Walmart. Now, another area that I want to sort of share with you is on the real estate front. We heard a little bit of positive news from Walmart, but let's talk about real estate. This is what's happening in real estate. Nationwide, about 63,000 deals of existing homes that are supposed to close and go through escrow actually fell through in July. This is actually a record number. About 16% of those homes actually went into contract last month and then fell through. So cancellations were about 12% just a year prior, and now it's over 16%. So a lot of homes now falling through escrow. Buyers are probably getting a little bit more nervous. Mortgage rates have gone up. The cost of borrowing for a mortgage has gone up, and therefore real estate is certainly suffering a little bit. Now, whether that's a positive or negative, I'll let you make a decision on that. But certainly this could be positive if you're worrying about increased inflation prices on real estate, and maybe you still haven't purchased a home yet, and you're hoping that, once they raise interest rates enough, inflation levels go down a little bit, perhaps interest rates on mortgages will settle down a little bit, and maybe you'll have an opportunity to jump in and purchase a new home or refinance again. That could be like, I guess it could be positive, could be negative, depending on how you see it. Now, the other portion is other news that's coming in, I want to share with you, is coming out of Amazon. Now, Amazon, be paying attention to this, especially as we go into the end of the year. Now, we talked about last week how the U.S. Postal Service is going to be increasing rates once again on shipping prices for the holiday season. Now, Amazon is also going to be increasing fees for fulfillment during the holiday shopping period for companies that use their fulfillment services. So what this equates is, this is going to equate to 35 cents per item sold on Amazon from the US or Canada. Okay. Now, this is actually the first time Amazon has hiked its seller fees for the holidays. So, this is actually a big deal. So, if you're looking to purchase items, gift items, you shouldn't be surprised if some of the things that you were tracking or looking to purchase actually increase in price in about a month, because it looks like this is actually going to occur October 15th to January 14th. So October 15th to January 14th, that's when the third party sellers who use fulfillment by Amazon are going to pay an extra 35 cents per item sold. So I think you and I can both agree that that probably means the cost of goods that you and I will be spending on is going to increase as well, because I'm sure a lot of these third party sellers aren't going to just absorb 35 cents per item. Now, some of you might be saying, well, maybe I should do my holiday shopping earlier rather than later. I don't know. I'm not sure that that's necessarily the case, because the fact that you and I are talking about this news means that the sellers on Amazon are reading this news as well. So there's a good chance some of them are going to start increasing the prices of their goods, probably even now, not waiting until October 15th. Tell me, what do you think? Would you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? I want to see what people are saying right now. But let me know what you think. Do you think Amazon prices are going to start to increase sooner rather than later? I think those Amazon sellers who are paying attention to this, definitely, I think they would probably do that sooner than later, because you probably don't want the prices to dramatically increase right at October 15th or right during the holidays, but probably start to do that sooner. But if they do it too soon and their competitors don't do it, perhaps then someone else will get that sell rather than, I don't know, really hard to say. But it'll be something interesting to follow along, certainly. Now, this was news that was shared on LinkedIn News. And for those of you who haven't been following LinkedIn News, they have some great business news that comes out every day. This was shared by Harriet Sinclair. This is LinkedIn trending news today on Apple. So what news came out of Apple? Well, we're not talking about yet the September new product announcement that we're excited to look forward to next month. But instead, this is regarding their employee force. As you know, Apple has sort of taken the reins here. A lot of us have been following of when Apple, let everybody start to work from home during the pandemic. They seem to be very much employee centric, really making sure that employees felt comfortable. Well, now Apple's taking a new stance. Apple has come out. It's the latest company to do so, probably one of the biggest companies to do so. And they said that we are officially going to roll out hybrid working. Okay. This is their new hybrid working model. In fact, starting September 5th, the company has announced that they expect corporate employees to be back in office on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, individual teams can select a third in-office day as well, but they're saying that there has to be some in-person meetings, and that you just can't work from home forever. So they delayed this sort of hybrid model for quite some time, especially when COVID cases continue to rise. But given the recent CDC news that came out, and they felt like, well, maybe this was time. So we'll see how that goes. So September 5th, it seems like a lot more Apple employees will be back in the office. For those of you who are watching, I'm curious, are you still working from home? Have you gone back to work, or are you on a hybrid mode? Really curious to see what your workplace looks like and how that compares to Apple and some of the other companies. But with that, that's where we're at. That's what we got for today. And of course, there'll be more news coming to you this week. I'll be coming to you live again. So do me a favor, make sure you're following me on the social platforms. If you see any interesting business news or financial news or even tech news that's coming out during the week, and like, we should take a look at this. This might be interesting for her to share on the show. Definitely send me questions, send me comments. And if it's relevant and it's pertaining and it's interesting to our audience, we might be just sharing it on show very, very soon. And I want to say a thank you also to Joshua, Isel, Vicky, and several of you. Thank you so much for sharing the show on your social platforms and getting the word out on our program. I truly, truly appreciate it. And as a reminder, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, and Roku, and many other platforms coming as well. And of course, check out our brand new podcast on the LinkedIn Podcast Network, or you can check it out on Apple Podcasts, and that is Yes Factor with Winnie Sun. With that, I can't wait to see you later this week. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye now.